2024 Board of Commissioners of Eidelweiss meeting to order at 9 a.m. And the first thing on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? We will have a non-public session at the end of this. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0. Second is the approval of the minutes, starting with February 21st, 2024.
I have just a few nits.
We need a motion.
Yeah, motion second to start the discussion.
Oh, okay, I'll make a motion to start discussion regarding the minutes of February 21st.
Second.
Okay, would
All in favor?
Not yet.
No.
Not
Not
yet.
yet. Changes.
Oh, you got discussion?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. So I can bring up my nits?
yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Item 4, DPW, paragraph B. I'm a little confused on the third sentence. It says, once the truck came back, comma, they did have to bring it to, so that's a nit, just to Albany service. Where it gets a little confusing after the service, comma, when they repaired the hydraulic lines, or where they repaired the hydraulic lines. If it's really when they repaired the hydraulic lines that were airbound, they showed a PTO failure or something to that extent. I'm a little confused on this sentence.
Yeah, that's what happened.
It's just the wording.
It's
When
the wording.
they repaired the hydraulic lines, which were airbound, the word which may be.
Yep,
go in
or
there.
that were airbound, exactly.
The word which shows up after the comma,
Yep.
which showed as a PTO failure. It will be outfitted this afternoon so that it is ready for the storm coming Friday.
So it's just a
Needs
few.
couple of words in
Yeah,
there.
just to make it clear what was going on. And then another one down in paragraph D, I
So
think.
what do you want it to say?
Oh, okay. So Jeff, help me out here. Once the truck came back, they did have to bring it to Albany service, I'd say, period. Okay? Then, is it when they repaired the hydraulic lines? Was it at Albany service that repaired the hydraulic lines?
Nope, it was at Mark Motors. They repaired this transmission wire, and the hydraulic line must have got disconnected. And then when they reconnected it, it was airbound.
So they should be Mark Motors.
Right.
When Mark Motors repaired the hydraulic lines.
We brought it to Albany service to have the PTO and the hydraulic line fixed, and all it was airbound.
Okay. When Mark Motors repaired the hydraulic lines, they were airbound and showed as a PTO failure.
Correct.
I'd say period there, and then just it will be outfitted, so on is fine. And the only other little nit is down in paragraph D, second sentence. Says the plow was lost. I think that means was the plow was loose,
Yeah. I had
and
like
some
to-
stops. Easy pickings. That's it. That's all I have for February 21st.
So, voting with those amendments, all in favor?
Aye.
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 3-0. Now the minutes of 2/27.
Have a motion?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to start discussing the minutes of February 27th.
Second.
Go ahead, Woody.
Okay, again, usually just a nit thing. Page 3 in section 5, simply water, the very last G, discussion on water ordinance to tighten up and simplify it for residents, as that is their residents, or residents, they are resident. In other words, does it end with a TS, or it really is supposed to be NCE for residents? It both sounds the same, but I'm not sure which word it's supposed to be.
It should be NT.
Yeah, so residents meaning the occupants.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, I have that one down too.
okay. And then just something for my edification on the Cat's bookkeeping, it says discussion on who will continue to do our quarterly payroll. Now, I know payroll taxes are paid quarterly, but payroll for the VDOE employees is every other week.
Yep.
So does Cat's bookkeeping also take care of the payment to employees every other week? No. Okay, so that really was meant for payroll taxes, quarterly payroll taxes. Okay. So I would like that just clarified a little bit, so it says to do our quarterly payroll taxes. Then, when we go to just a nit on page 4, under the motion of the possibility for a FEMA loan, under C, Nancy Cole, then down to B, email from Jay Buckley regarding the water assessment. Okay, so it says, however, it is going to be spent, however, it is going to be spent in 2024 instead of spend it 2024. Is that a better way of wording it? I think it is. I think, however, because we discussed that it's the bulk of the money in that capital reserve fund was expected to be spent in 2024. So, to my line of thinking, that line should read, and again, these are nits. However, it is going to be spent in 2024.
So that is why we didn't create another warrant article
That's the line I have marked out.
to transfer the funds. That's not really what happened, right?
Correct.
Right, as we discussed, we decided to just leave the money there because there was going to be items on the international that.
Yeah, but his email was wanting to know why we didn't create a warrant article to move those funds. That was the gist of his email.
Yeah,
Yeah, but this doesn't say you're answering the question. It says, so that is why we didn't create another warrant article to transfer the funds. What is the point you're making? Maybe I didn't catch that.
I don't.
So this is stating we intentionally didn't create another warrant article to transfer the funds.
Because his email said that was asking why didn't we create
well,
warrant articles to transfer the
yeah,
funds.
I think that perfectly explains why we didn't. I'm just questioning, the wording just sounds a little awkward, that's all. I perfectly understood the intention of everything that's communicated there. Just, however, it is going to be spend it 2024. However, it is going to be spent in 2024. So that is why we didn't create another warrant article to transfer the funds.
So I would say his email could be covered by saying the email from Jay Buckley regarding the warrant article for 2023 and the money that wasn't spent, period. And then strike everything after that. Because it's just stating that Nancy Cole discussed his email.
Okay, that's fine too.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine too.
That simplifies it.
Because we know, and it's on record as to,
Right. You can go look at the video and see how
Okay.
that discussion went, which is much more hairy than trying to explain it here.
okay, that's all I have.
Anything else?
Nope.
All in favor as amended?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0. So that's the minutes of 2/27. Approval of manifest. The first one is the payroll manifest with checks and debits for a total of $8,674.40.
Make a motion to approve the payroll manifest for 8,006.
7440.
Yep.
Needs a second?
I'll second that.
I had a question about this, if this is the word. This has more than just the payroll in this payroll manifest. There's other invoices here, maybe I missed the point of that. For example, there's an invoice from Strobes and Moore.
That's, you're looking at the wrong, this is the payroll.
It's in this
That's-
file.
That's the operating.
Okay,
It's the one it's the one with payroll in the file name, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, there's always two of them,
then it's,
and they'll have, some of it is duplicative information, but let me bring up the one that says payroll.
I guess just the fact that they, let's see. The name of the file is Manifest 5
524 payroll.
Payroll.
Mhm.
They both have payroll in their names.
Correct, but
Okay.
the other one has more, like I said, operating information in it, operating expenses.
Any other questions on this payroll manifest?
Quick scroll through it.
Again, this would be a little nit, but at the end of the payroll manifest, there's the names of commissioners and elected people. Could we fix those? Still says Ralph and Mike. Yeah.
Yep.
So all in favor of the payroll manifest for $8,674.40, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 3-0. Next, the operating account manifest. Totaling $2,539.90. That's the other payroll labeled file. And this is the actual net deposits. Any questions on this?
Wait a minute, let me make sure I'm on the right file.
Start with a motion to approve and discuss the operating manifest for,
You're making that motion?
yes.
I'll second it.
Is that the file, Caitlin, is that the file just titled 5 Manifest 3824, or is it the Manifest 3-5-24 payroll?
3-5-24 payroll
Okay.
has the amount of $2,539.90. This is the one that has Mark Motors and Strokes
Yep.
and Post Office.
Right.
I saw those
as well as the
receipts,
net
yep.
Right.
Deposits for the
Mhm.
employees.
Mark Motors, Strobes and more, Madison Post Office, okay. Who's Strobes and more? Is that for the lights for the backhoe? Okay, that we got the 9880, that's what Jeff reported. Okay, great. Mark Motors. Okay, I'm good with it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0. So at 9:15, we'll enter the DPW report. Morning, Jeff.
Okay, good morning. So, last week I talked with the guys over in Madison, and we got them, they came over and they pumped that heat and oil out. So that tank's empty now, so we'll
Nice.
move forward on moving that and getting that out of the garage. So we got that done. I have noticed, and I've been monitoring it, but it's just not working. The heater, there's 2 heaters at building 2. It's the one above the loft, it's not working. So we're probably gonna get that, so the other one's struggling to work alone. So we're probably probably gonna have to get somebody in there to take a look at that. I did change batteries, needed to be changed in the thermostat, but it's just not, they're not communicating or it's not kicking on. So something's wrong with that heater. And I don't know who we use. We've used Federal Piping in the past. Dan Whitelaw's looked at it in the past. So I don't know who you guys want to call on that. But at the same token, the toilet down in DPW 1 has been leaking. That's, when they did that remodel on that bath, they put in this, it's not your typical pickup toilet and change the ring. It's like a back flush, not a down. It's a different type of toilet. So again, I don't know who we'd call on that, but if we could call the same person does heating and plumbing, kind of kill the two birds with the one stone maybe. So that's something to think about.
So you need to call somebody this week.
Well, yeah, I mean, we probably should get this done sooner than later.
Doesn't sound like it's leaking clean water.
Yeah, it's leaking
Yeah,
from
so-
the bottom of the toilet, so it's yeah. And then the heater, like you said, that one's been working, but it's been struggling. It's been a couple weeks now, so it's just not kicking on up at building
Do you
2.
want to call Whitelaw?
We could,
See if he wants to do both of
you
them?
want me to give Danny a call?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, so, the signs, I've got a list here of signs. Do you want me to give that to you guys so you could look at that over?
Yeah.
Or think about what you wanna do for signs?
Enough snow melted, before I forget, at the top of Salins, where it turns into
Yeah.
Stock, the dead end. I saw the stub of the actual,
I
Pole.
did too. And I don't know where the pole went,
Yeah, I
where the
didn't
sign
see-
went.
yeah.
I kinda looked around there for that and I didn't see that either, but I
We may
definitely,
need more snow to melt before we find that.
yeah, if that's still there, that'd be a good thing.
It's in a college dorm in Massachusetts somewhere.
Yeah, it could be. It'd save us on the sign, we'd need a new post.
Right.
But the thing with the signs is, I maybe have 2 posts down at the shop. I have no hardware. So what we're gonna need, if we're gonna need some signs, we're gonna need posts. We're gonna need the things that the signs sit on that go into the posts. Well, I call all that the hardware. So, I've noticed quite a few. Now, some may not be necessary, like I showed you the other day when I saw you walking, that one in Thusis in Appinvale. You said there was like a wooden one up on the thing, so, I crossed that one off the list.
But right in front of it is a pole on the.
Oh, is
grade
there a
side.
metal one there too?
Yeah, within feet of each other.
Okay, so.
On your list also, where was it? Old Town Road,
Yeah,
where, West Bergamo turns left and goes into Old Town Road that goes straight uphill.
yeah,
That sign is there's just a wooden sign there and it's lost its letters.
right, there's no lettering on
Paint
it.
on it.
Right, so is that where West Bergamo ends, is on that corner?
Yeah, West Bergamo goes into Omega, the class 6 that goes downhill. And then you turn right and that's where, Tony Grader paved it a few years ago. It goes
Right.
up to the
Yeah,
corner,
we shim that.
turns into Upper Lakeview.
So that little stretch of the pavement's
That's
Old Town?
Town Road.
Okay, yeah, so there's no sign there.
That's the original road into Conway.
Oh,
way back
wow.
when. And there was no Route 16.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
The Class 6 road still continues beyond the rocks.
Actually, the town dissolved that road. It's just a path on private property now.
Right. so
Um,
you
The only
know,
piece that's still a road is in Eidelweiss.
Right,
Anyway.
okay. I've hiked that many.
So that needs a sign to say Old Town Road. It's-
Right, yeah, and I
If
wasn't
that
sure
can
where
go
that
up
all
on a tree
ended.
instead of a pole, anywhere it can go on a tree, I think is better than a pole that clearly gets shaved by the plows at some,
Well, yeah, we gotta try to put them in a better position sometimes too. So yeah, so there's another one,
Can I also bring up, as long as we're discussing that particular area?
Yeah.
On Sunday, I took a hike up to the summit, 1 for the exercise, but 2 just to check in on the summit cabana, make sure all the records up there are in good shape and everything's fine up there. On the hike down, I took Upper Lakeview down to Old Town Road. When I got to the bottom of Old Town Road, that Class 6 road that eventually leads down to East Bergamo, somebody has dumped a bunch of trash, like shells. I got a picture I'll show you.
huh.
Like if you made that left, you can't go too far before the snowbanks
Yeah,
will stop you.
they cleaned a bunch of snow out of there, didn't didn't they?
They had a skid steer come in and cut into the bank and move where they cut trees and just left log debris and stumps. And then, I think, not last weekend, but the weekend before, an SUV with Massachusetts plates and a white pickup truck with a long, like, multi-snowmobile trailer backed in there. And the next thing is that the cut-in that was made by the skid steer onto private property,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not onto a road, was loaded with wooden debris from
A bookshelf and some other,
renovation.
yeah.
Oh,
I can show you the picture,
they
so.
threw it all out there.
They
So
just
threw it
stacked
out
them in
there.
there, yeah.
It's not even stacked, it was thrown. I got pictures, it's just bad looking.
Some of it is just demolition, and there's like a
it's on
tall,
private property.
it's on private property, so that's not.
So we don't,
Okay,
Don't get
all right.
rid
we
of
can't
it.
touch it.
So I don't know who paid to have a skid steer come in February.
Right, somebody come in there
And
blast
then the
it.
next weekend loaded up with wood debris. Is it the same people?
Not a
I
clue.
wonder if they're gonna burn it or, but it's
Yeah.
not our problem.
Right, okay.
Okay.
didn't
I was
know.
just afraid it was just somebody, you know, we've seen it happen before, just dumps off stuff because they're too lazy to take it to the transfer station
Oh,
and pay the
right.
money, so they just use
So it's not
areas that they can
trash, it's
find.
more like dressers.
debris. It's like I said,
that.
demolition.
Combinations, somebody took a sledgehammer to some wood.
Right,
Then there's a planter and a oak, the bookshelf is oak, and it's like
huh.
6 feet.
Now, I know that they, like I say, they blasted that in a few weeks ago, but I didn't notice it.
The next weekend, it got loaded up,
Okay.
but
Okay.
it's not on our road.
Right. So I guess, do you want me to read off this list, or like give it to the office, you guys could look at it?
Yeah, we're not gonna put the signs up, I think, until the snow's gone and.
Right,
get
but I
into
mean,
the ground with it.
we may have to buy some stuff.
Yes.
This is- You're gonna, you know, so I'll leave this with Caitlin, and you
Yes.
guys can take a look at
Good
this.
idea.
Like I said, and then if you're walking around or driving around, do you wanna put one there like I got down or not, so, cause, okay, that's perfect. So the signs, so, this 11 Jungfrau, it's got a driveway permit, and it's an existing driveway, it's been there for 5 or 6 years now, and I guess he's looking to pave it.
11 is uphill from the road.
Yes,
The even's down.
and it's with the foundation, it's already in and capped off, it's that one.
Okay,
He said that he's held up getting his building permit because he doesn't have the driveway permit approved. Now, I would assume this driveway was approved a while ago.
I looked this morning, it was approved in 2013.
Right. So I don't know, I was reluctant to sign off on it because he's looking to have it paved and it still needs that negative pitch going back before it goes up. And he's well aware of this and he's telling me he's gonna do it and do it right and all that. So, I mean,
I think if I give him a copy of the original, I was gonna call you,
okay,
talk to you today anyways, but, I think if I give him that original driveway permit, he can at least give that to Bob to
Right.
get his building permit, and then you can deal with the paving and the application that we have at present.
right.
After he fixes that.
See, I don't wanna hold the guy up for building. I mean, I told him, I said, well, you're not gonna get a lumber truck in here right now because, the road's posted. But, again, the driveway's there and hopefully when he's gonna, finish it and pave it, he's gonna do it the right way, you know what I mean? So I don't know where you guys sit on that.
does the application specify whether he's paving or not?
I believe it does.
I think it does, yeah.
He wants to pave it. So that's what it is. It's what do you guys have,
Oh, it's a change.
a change order? Right. So it's not, like I say, Kate, the original driveway permit's been approved 10 years ago.
So let me, so he's asking where the change approval is?
Yeah, because Bob won't give him a building permit without a driveway permit. But he didn't have the original driveway permit because he didn't,
He's not the original
he's not
owner.
the original
Oh, I
owner.
see, now I get it.
So
Yeah,
I
he's
think
not the
if I
original
give him
owner.
a copy of that to give to Bob from 2013, I think that will at least get his side of things moving, and then he can work with Jeff for the
And
change.
Did he submit a application to change the
Yes.
driveway?
Yes.
And he got approved for that?
No, we haven't.
No,
done
I
that.
haven't
He
approved
just-
because I didn't,
he just
So
went
he
and
can
looked.
build without paving?
Correct.
Yeah.
With what he, when you give him a copy of the
Yeah.
original,
Right,
then he can get his building permit and start building, and then he needs to get his changed driveway permit.
Yeah, Jeff had
Approved.
to give his recommendations and then, I have to present, well, we have to, the administrator needs to present it to you to approve that.
So if it's clear to him that he can start to build but not pave that thing until he gets the driveway change approval, which is gonna specify the negative grade again.
right,
But the original driveway permit specified a negative grade,
yes,
and that person never did the negative grade to the road.
that's the way I see it, yeah.
So we need to write a memo to this guy saying this driveway is approved, but it hasn't been complied with the permit yet because it has no negative grade. We have that problem with these driveways not having negative grades and damaging the gravel road
Well, that's the thing, they all run right into the road.
and pothole.
Yeah, so this guy understands everything I've talked to him about and all that,
He's telling you he's gonna put the negative grade in.
yes. Otherwise, we go and rip it out, and he doesn't want that. I don't want that.
If we can avoid that, then.
Right, we
Yeah.
can avoid that at all costs.
That guy from Massachusetts is building his own house, has been working on it for several years, on a big hill, on Jungfrau.
Yeah, but then now it's sold.
It's new owners now.
Oh,
See,
new owners.
I think it's sold a couple of different times, actually, since that guy initially put that in.
Okay.
So we don't need to memo this guy if you've had this conversation.
I've had conversations with
Okay.
him, yeah.
So
I
he
talked
knows.
with him yesterday, I talked with him on Friday. Now I understand where he's at.
So I think I should fill out the operations for construction with Jeff's recommendations for you guys to approve
Operations construction.
for the driveway permit. There's an
Right, a
operation
lot of
for
times we do it
construction and
that way
operation
first.
for, a permit for operations. So he can we give him his recommendations, he does it, and then we have to go back and make sure that's correct.
Right. So we'll get that rolling then for him. And then what, the guy on our Bristol stock there?
Oh, yes. Anthony Allen called yesterday looking, he has the house on the Class 6 road of Prestonstock.
The
Yes.
cabin beyond the dead
Yep.
end.
It has no power, no water.
Yep, so there's a snowbank in the way because we don't maintain that road and he hasn't maintained it all winter, but now he wants to get in there with a pickup. So he wants us to go move that snowbank
So he could get
so
in
that
there.
he can get in there with a pickup, but he's not gonna plow the road, he's gonna drive over the snow. Cause I said, well, can't whoever's plowing the road move the snowbank? Cause really that's not our responsibility. It's his responsibility to maintain the Class 6 road, and if he had maintained it all winter, that snowbank wouldn't be there. But now he wants us to go move it, and I guess last year we did move it for him, so he's looking for us to move it again, and I'm not so sure we should have moved it last year, but
Is the snow or the snow that he's asking to be removed at the edge of the Class 5 road where it becomes Class 6?
so
Yes.
it would be at the,
Because we're not supposed to block a Class 5 or Class 6 road
well, that was
When
what,
we're
that's
doing-
what else he said.
when we're doing snow plowing. So if we created something that made it so that he can't access his Class 6 road, then we might have to think about moving it from the edge of the Class 6.
Now, is the reason for that is because some municipalities have winter emergency vehicles that can handle winter conditions that regular vehicles won't, to get onto Class 6 roads?
If you're
Something-
asking why we would have to keep a Class 6 road accessible, is that it's state law
Right.
Okay.
on Class 6 roads. That you
Right.
can't block a Class 6 road
Is
with a
it
gate or
blocked?
bar.
The snow gets pushed up there and then he doesn't, then that road's not maintained by anybody.
Right.
I mean, it's just like when we go by that part of Granville, the wing swings by and it puts the snow in front of Granville and then they have to come and those people pay to have that snow removed. I mean, if we deliberately pile it up there, then I understand that we'd have to,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, get rid of it.
I guess it's no different than your driveway. If the plow goes by and builds a snowbank, it's your responsibility to move it to get into your driveway.
I mean, it's kind of one of those,
It's not like it's a pile that they've dumped there.
Yeah.
you know, if they've maintained it all winter, then that wouldn't be an
It's
issue.
not like we created a giant wall that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it gets piled up there, but I mean, it's just the way that it's the end, it's a dead end.
Yeah,
So to make the dead end, you know, so it starts at the wall, and then as the snow builds all winter, it becomes out to here. So to make it so you can turn around, you pile it up higher and higher. So it at times gets to be like that because it hasn't been maintained. Number one, and number two, it's just the nature of the beast. The snow just keeps coming. It would take nothing for us to go there and move it.
But it starts a precedent
Yeah.
that was started last year,
Yeah.
one of the points that's being made here.
Right.
Right.
And it's whether we stop that now, because we do this at every class 6 road that has a class 5 road dead ending. We have the plow blade stop and it starts to build the bank. That, if we had a precedent, that means anytime anybody who has a class 6 lot says, I want that snowbank removed, we have to move it.
yeah, I agree.
I feel like if they have a class 6 road, they should have to have it plowed all winter to keep that snowbank from building up.
Right. It's just like
That's-
Old Town. You know, you come around that corner, you plow right there. We never go and open that up so that road could be, you know,
Into Omega,
right. And then the next one up the road. the
where
same
this
thing.
guy just had a skid steer, moved that all
Right.
further down.
Right.
Just then you go up the road up the top of Old Town. There's that other class.
So we would have had to, if we make this the precedent, we would have had to do it there.
All these
And
places
we have
would
like
have to get
five
cleaned
or
out.
6 places that we do that.
Right.
Edelboden,
Right.
and so,
So that's where we're at.
Yeah, I agree, we don't want to perpetuate that,
so should we make a
I need a
motion
motion.
saying, instructing that he has to remove that snowbank, or?
yeah, let's make a motion. Well, first of all, we have to deny his request. That he's responsible, so how do we word the motion?
So he called and requested this, or he
Yeah,
spoke to somebody?
He called me
Yeah, he
yesterday.
called the office.
Well, I'll make a motion that, one, we deny his request. And the reason being is that homeowners with homes on class 6 roads are responsible for keeping them clear if they want access to their homes during the winter months or any time of year.
I'd leave the motion at that. Does
Yeah.
that have a second?
Just deny his request.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'll second that.
Do you have discussion?
I just gave my discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we're okay, you know, doing it where we're not supposed to block. And I completely agree that we shouldn't be having the DPW moving, you know, snow that would normally be a homeowner's issue, you
The
know.
law actually talks about gates and bars.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and
And
we're
it was
not,
meant back from the farm days where people would close road to keep cattle from escaping their fields. And then other people would want to drive their 39 pickup truck up to their land past that and would say, you've blocked this road, you can't do that. I think that's a little different than snowbanks.
It is.
I agree.
yes,
I agree.
yes.
And a clear violation of what you're talking about is that guy who dumped all those boulders up at the Edelboden
Right.
first in stock.
Yes.
Right,
That was
right.
egregious beyond
Yes.
belief. The way he blocked that road.
Yeah.
All that intersection.
So, motion second, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
3-0.
And that's about all I got.
Very good. Anything for Jeff? It didn't seem like we needed punch outs and snowbanks to turn water off anywhere that I could see.
No,
It's been melting nicely for us.
we got lucky where before it got warm there a month ago or so when the roads got real soft that we were out with the grader and pushed the roads back as well as we did. So yeah, the water's been off the roads in a good way. But we are dealing with mud and hopefully
Popping up in
people-
strange places, like in the middle of Siren.
I know.
I never saw it there before.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it has to do with the way the Mother Nature
Yeah.
brought the rains in last year and washed a lot of the gravel off roads in a lot of different spots. And, it's just something we're gonna have to deal with. But yeah, if people can stay smart and stay more towards the center of the roads and when they see those drops, straddle them. that would help. But we're out spreading some more stone and trying to firm up what we can right now. So
I have a question,
yes.
but it's also the other commissioners. What is the policy for new guys like me to occasionally do ride-alongs with DPW people to understand exactly what you do, like a ride-along in the snowplow during a snowstorm or other type of work? Is there any sort of like insurance issues there? Or,
No, I mean, I've got no problem with it. I know Tony's always said, have them ride along. We'll show them what we do.
That's
So
I'd
yeah,
do that.
if you
Okay.
want to.
There's a
that's-
puppy that enjoys it.
What's that? Oh, Bauer, good old Bauer,
Yes.
yeah.
but,
Because he likes it.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend if we get snow this weekend to ride along, because that's going to be an ugly one. But if it's nice, firm, normal snow in the middle of the winter, and you want to see how the plow works, absolutely.
Okay.
This one's going to be a rough one because the roads are just soft, and when you plow when they're like this, nobody likes to do it.
Yeah, and I'm not only talking ride-alongs, just you know, I don't want to take away from your work time because you guys are busy as it is, but every now and then it'd be nice to just get just give me an orientation on all the equipment.
Well,
you have.
absolutely, and it's always good to know how things work and what's going on. So I mean,
Plowing is hours and hours of monotony interrupted by moments of white knuckle terror.
right, exactly. You know, that's well, that explains it pretty good right there.
Firm believer in tracing out the systems.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So no, that's any questions we'll we can answer for you.
Appreciate it.
By any means, just knock on the door or something and ask.
Thank you.
You got it. Have a good day.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
So at 9:37, we'll go into administration report. Water hookup application at 22 Aspen Drive.
The engineer hasn't approved it yet, but I wanted it to be on public record of the recommendations from the engineer. So that everybody is on the same page. The email correspondence is at the back.
From
From
Nick.
Nick, yep.
Saw something from Nick, but didn't see anything from Ian. Is there anything from Ian?
No.
No? Okay.
I can do the model evaluation work anytime. Can you send me a copy of the application if you have drawings like a septic design or anything? That would be helpful, which is all in here.
Yeah, I gave
Right.
it to him.
Okay, so
If you look, that top paragraph.
this is dated February 19th. Hi Caitlin, need to review this one with Ian to see if there's a water line available along the frontage of his property. Also,
Right.
that could be an issue. My model shows this property location to be between the high pressure line on Aspen that is served by the new booster pump at Rhinebeck and the lower pressure line that is fed from Jungfrau. Ian, do you have a good idea as to where the water line's dead end and which is likely to be used to serve this property? So it may need, from these words, it may need a water line extension from one of these two.
Quite
points.
possible.
It's not known what's in front of this house, or
Right.
which one, if there is a line, which one is bringing it. So, I get it now.
I just wanted it,
Are you following?
Yeah.
I knew we couldn't approve it, but I wanted it to be on public record that.
So we don't approve this today.
No,
No.
but I just wanted it in the
Gotcha.
public eyes and know that
Very good.
that's.
So we're working on it.
So so once we know, if a water line extension is required, then the homeowner is responsible for funding
Right,
that
Yes.
installation.
Yes.
to the far point of his lot, according to the ordinance.
Okay.
Not just to where he wants the water line, but to the end of the lot, so that the next person is picking it up at the beginning of their lot, if it's extending one lot.
Okay.
That was an issue
So
that
this
got
is-
covered with
Right.
Thusis.
Right.
Yes.
So if this is the case, this is like DeFeo Redux, but we'll do it right this time.
Yeah, DeFeo did it right too.
Yeah,
Okay.
he did.
Well, I meant the way it was.
That
all
project was done
before. Right.
Right.
but it was a discussion in the middle of it.
Mhm.
MS 636, giving us the heads up on a form that needs to be signed after the annual meeting.
It has to be signed, before I post it, and then it will be approved after the meeting. So, I should have put it under signature items, but, this is what needs to be posted before Friday for the annual meeting.
Okay, where's the, water?
There's the water.
Budget?
On that form?
It's all, they're all combined. It's one. We don't have to, the water budget is not, because it's not funded by taxes.
It's irrelevant, it's something that the village district does.
There is I did see a water distribution, treatment and subtotal.
Yes, and that's last year's. That's not the recommended for this year. So there's numbers in last year's, but there isn't in this year's recommended.
That's on page 3, she's talking, Caitlin.
Mark took the copies.
Under water distribution and treatment. Okay,
So that was my question.
Okay.
That was my,
Gotcha.
that was what stood out to me. Because we should be putting the water in there because the district does do water as well as roads. And street lighting and other things too. But yeah, because that should have this year's.
I guess the street lighting is under what, highways and streets. No, that's kind of individual warrant article. There's electric here. Maybe put under, where does street lighting go? Since you brought it up.
If you look on page 9, it gives you your answer.
Page
Under
9.
revenues,
Revenues.
it'd be 243,229. At the top, it would be under 3402.
I'm sorry, which, I'm on page 9 right now.
At the very top.
Yeah.
It says, water supply system charges.
Yep,
That's Article 3. That's our warrant article. For the water budget, would be 204.
243, 229.
Yep.
So that's, those are charges, but what about costs and expenses?
Were you expecting to see the entire budget for the water?
No.
No, I
guess-
was
guess
expecting
not.
to see the number.
On page, was it 2?
Yeah. Where it shows last year's, but it doesn't show this year's.
So, water distribution and treatment, line item 4332, water services. In the expenditures for, last year, the expenditures came up to 213,546. And the appropriations for the period ending, that was the budget for, right, 204. Remember, we went over by about $6,000 in 2023 versus the approved budget,
Right.
so.
I can ask Michelle Clark that question because if this wasn't in balance, it wouldn't have allowed me to print it. And it wouldn't have given me the green light.
So maybe
I
this is historical only,
No.
whereas this is forward-looking, and we got the same figure there.
That should
Right.
also, this is recommended for this year.
Yeah, that's true,
It should be
recommended.
showing.
So the 243, 229 should be in the column saying recommended. So you're saying if we do that, this will be out of balance?
No.
If Nancy says no, then the answer is no.
Okay, I'm just, this form is brand new to me, so.
So you wanted this signed today so that it could be posted,
Yeah.
but
And it's just a draft. So it can be, even if it's signed, it can be, it's just
Right,
the
we're discussing it
final
now.
is not until after the annual meeting.
But this is being posted as part of the warning of the meeting? This gets posted,
Prior to the meeting,
right, along with the warrant.
that's correct.
So. So this needs to be posted Friday, and your concern is that this doesn't get signed in time.
Right, and do we have the final warrant for signature?
Oh, we're just dealing with this MS form right now.
636, yeah.
Well, do we have any sort of prior year examples to see how they did the water distribution and treatment?
You're looking at it.
Well,
It was in last year's. It's been in prior years.
I had to enter the expenditures. Those are our actuals.
right.
I had to enter those.
Yes.
I'm saying one that's already done done and dusted, let's say from, I don't know, 3 years ago, with these Eidelweiss in there.
I will ask Michelle.
Okay, I think we just need to check. It seems to make sense because the column says recommended. You can see the history, what was approved, what was actually spent, and what's recommended for 2024.
Right, and regardless of where we get the money, whether it's taxes or water fees, it is a budget for the village district. We do water and,
And I think the way to look at it is, Caitlin, on page 9, the charges, that's a revenue source. Whereas back on page 3, these really become cost centers.
right,
So,
right,
and at this point in time, the revenue and the costs are expected to be equal. It's going to wash out if we spend every penny that's approved in the budget, but that doesn't always happen, or we overspend it like we did last year. But one's a revenue and one's a cost. At this point, they're both equal for the recommended.
I think what's being missed is that our total appropriations for 2024, if you look on page 10, is $1.1 million. That's the two budgets combined.
yes, and it includes all the other warrant articles as well.
The individual warrant articles is $345,000, which is the water budget, because that's a warrant article.
It's not questioning the numbers.
Right,
It's just questioning whether that recommended on page 2 in the water, there should be a figure there.
Right, so she said she wanted to check with Michelle, if she
Yeah.
can put that number in there, right? And then
Yeah.
what would you like us to do right now then? Fill in that first page, or wait until you check with Michelle?
I can check with Michelle, and this can be signed at any time. We don't need a motion to sign
Okay.
this.
Happy with that?
It's
Yeah.
a requirement, so it
Yeah.
doesn't.
Very good.
Yeah, by and large.
Thank you. If we're all set with MS 636, we'll move on to water hookup log.
This is just an update of the water hookup spreadsheet.
Yep.
The only two outstanding are 57 Eidelweiss and 22 Aspen. The other ones have been completed, but I haven't gotten an invoice from the contractor yet, so that's why there's no completed date. Once I get that invoice, then I will mark that as a completed, and I will bill the customer for the proration of the water fee. And but I just wanted everybody to have an update of this.
That's
before
great,
I
thank you.
leave.
So we won't be billing for 13 Thusis. He billed us, right? How's that gonna work?
No, I did have to bill the I have to, cause some of that did come out of the CRF. So like his pressure test, the original pressure test came out of, the CRF. And I think that was one of my questions, was what part of that whole bill does come from part of his water hookup that needs to be taken from the CRF and put back into the water assessment fund. Obviously the pressure test is one, which is $500, but I feel like some of those construction fees potentially could come out of the CRF, but I'm just not sure, so I thought we could.
Do we normally, I would think that we, once we have the construction
We have
parts,
everything.
then we move that amount of money from
Well,
the
you can't move
CRF
the
for
water.
the hookups?
You can't move the water line extension that he was responsible for paying for.
Right, yeah,
out of
not
the
that,
CRF,
it would
but
just
it's
be the
one
district's
big-
part.
It's one big,
Invoice from him?
yeah, so I
Right.
wasn't sure how we would do that, but that's,
Doesn't have to be decided today?
no, okay. No, but that was the only one,
Okay.
that has not been requested from the CRF.
All set with water hookup?
Yeah.
We should pay attention to this to make sure we don't have,
This should be updated once a month.
Right.
and-
Yes.
And presented once a month going
And-
forward.
This isn't the time to discuss this now, but when we have a new administrator, and I've got some suggestions from an accounting perspective as to how this all should be handled. Maybe it's the way it'd be handled in the private sector, whether in government accounting, I don't know, but I don't wanna, let's not get into the weeds right now on that.
okay.
For the future, there's, I think, a much easier way to do this.
Next is April meeting schedule. That's a Word file. Tuesday, April 2nd, Tuesday the 9th. They're all Tuesdays, and there's 5 of them in April. The 9th, the 16th, the 23rd, the 30th, all at 9 a.m., all at the lower town hall level unless something changes.
Mm-hmm.
That looks okay to me.
Yeah,
Easy to know where we're going every
Do
week.
you wanna make a motion to approve it?
I'll make a motion to approve the schedule.
I'll second that.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
3-0. And at 9:53, we move on to old business tabled items. Do we have any? So 9:53, we'll go to signature items, CRF transfer. And this is, the amount to be distributed from the CRF is $14,642.18. And I reviewed the I reviewed the package, and I see that you have the invoices, which I think we've already paid, and you highlighted where it is that part of this $14,642 is coming from that needs to be reimbursed. That's very good.
That's the date.
Okay, I have one thing with this.
Let's have a motion in a second, then we'll discuss it. A motion to approve the transfer of $14,642.18.
I'll second that.
Discussion.
Yeah, the form says that the date requested is September 5th,
Oh.
23. And then it has us, and I was like, wait a minute, is this something that was supposed to have been done last
I'll just
fall, or is that just
It
Oh.
must have been,
a
Well,
holdover?
I used the same form.
Yeah.
just changed it.
Okay, so it's just a holdover.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get that fixed before we sign it.
I just changed it to 4.
Yeah, you can just manually change it.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
Well, let me see that for just.
Okay,
what did we
yeah,
should
this
say
is for the-
should be?
this is for the payment of services rendered to do water line hookups,
Mhm.
correct?
I'll put today's date.
And I think engineering was in here too,
Yes.
and the water operator. Well, I guess
I see.
contractor and, excavating contractor and water operator fees.
Yeah, I see simply
All
water
hookup
and some
related.
others, yep, okay.
Yeah.
I think all hookup related.
Mhm. No, like I said, everything looked good. I just was like, the
Okay.
date.
Oh, I see, the whole day.
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
Yeah, it's all that.
That's okay.
Further discussion? All in favor?
I,
Aye. 3-0.
oh, and there's another. There's,
So,
there's 2 pages, 2
To
things
sign?
to sign.
Sign? No, okay. Work its way back.
I have 2 vacation days that I've accumulated and haven't used, so I
Okay.
was hoping to use those.
So one more thing added would be the request for absence for vacation days.
That's all.
Okay, under signature, very good. Motion to approve vacation day on March 8th and a vacation day on March 15th for Caitlin. Does it have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
And I guess maybe I should have amended the agenda when we went through this. This is the fees
Yes.
agreement that apparently we didn't sign. I thought we did, and I thought I sent it back, but if you could just sign that, I'll scan that and send that to her today.
This is one of the few contracts that we should sign without a legal review,
Yes.
because it gets us legal counsel.
Yes.
Right.
And the date is 3/5/2024.
Legally, Beagles can't do it right, then we're all screwed.
Did I make a motion to do that?
No, you did not, but
I'll make a motion that we approve this agreement with Mitchell
And Bates. Or-
Mitchell
Mitchell
Municipal
Municipal.
Group. I see Mitchell's not an attorney listed in this agreement. Must maybe retired?
He might have retired.
and who seconds that?
I didn't hear one.
Second.
Nancy seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
That's it for me.
Commissioners' reports, that starts at
9:58.
I did not hear back from Danielle at the state about FEMA's $1 million, not $1 million, 1% loans. And in the meantime, I see Caitlin got a communication from a new FEMA contact that's gonna be managing the July project.
Yep.
So I intend on being at the 9:30 meeting tomorrow at the office. Thursday?
Thursday.
Thursday.
It was on
Today's
Thursday.
Thursday, which would be the 6th, 7th. Is anybody else gonna be there?
Unfortunately, I can't.
That's okay.
I was told Caitlin, I'd love to have gone to that, but I can't make it.
Yeah, and I think we had voted that Mark would be the contact for these, for the reps anyway.
I think she
so-
just needed to know whether there's gonna be someone else there. She
Right,
posted at
to
the
post
meeting.
it, yeah,
I mean, any of us should be able to go to that, but yeah, Mark is the lead guy.
yeah.
The only other thing I had was, planning for additional meetings that would be non-public to do the interviewing process, and, I saw Caitlin sent around, suggested people and times that they would be interviewed, I think starting tomorrow, and I wanted to have a discussion as to whether we needed to talk about that before we actually started or not. Whether you wanted to review the resumes together or discuss the resumes together before we actually started to talk to people, or whether you wanted to just leap into interviewing.
I think we're in a bit of a time pressure. I've read over virtually all the resumes. I'm not gonna say 100% of them, but the bulk of them. I mean, are we really gonna interview all of them? I think isn't there a weeding out process of let's.
I guess that was part
Well,
of the
that's-
discussion.
Select the
So-
I don't know,
Do we weed them out or does Caitlin weed them out?
We should.
Filter.
I think we should.
Select.
well,
That's,
I think in tandem with Caitlin. I mean, yeah, but we should all together pick a handful of those who look like the most promising candidates.
The one I sent yesterday.
Jennifer Scully,
Yeah.
and didn't we already have a time set up
you
for
shouldn't
Saturday?
use names.
Don't use
Yeah,
names.
no names.
Sorry. Edit that
That was, I haven't because you had said that email about, you know, what our process was gonna be, so I didn't do anything more until we went into, I figured we could just go into non-public and discuss
out.
it.
Well, we're going into non-public
Yeah.
today, so
Yeah.
Today, right,
Yeah.
at this meeting.
Yeah.
I think we
So
should
we can
discuss
hold
it.
off.
Yeah.
Just, how many resumes should we have, just to make sure I caught them all here?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm having an issue with Indeed on my computer at work, so I can only access Indeed on my computer at home. And I'm waiting for Andrew to get back to me. It's like blocked from it's I can't get it on my phone if I'm on the Wi-Fi at the office, but if I take my phone off the Wi-Fi at the office, I can get onto it. So it must be a network setting. So I've been just downloading them at home and forwarding them. So there's 2 more that I got that I haven't done anything with. So there should be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Plus there's, I think, 3 more that I haven't downloaded. But not all of these do I think we should entertain.
So let's hold off any further discussion on that till we get to the non-public session.
Yeah.
Did my
Did your what?
agenda go over to you? Some-
Oh, I don't know.
It's under the corner of your.
Oh,
Oh, there it is. Oh my God.
sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, so that's my report. Do you have a report for this week?
I have a couple questions and just want to go on record with something. As long as Caitlin's with us and she's been, heavy into the, the financial records of the district. The first question, I'm a little bit confused. I think I know the answer, but are we on an accrual-based accounting or a cash-based?
We're on accrual base.
We're on accrual.
Yeah, because any expenses that were accrued in 2023, but we paid in 2024, go back to the 2023.
That's what I thought. I'm just double checking. Okay. And then, as we conclude each month, is there a formal set of closing adjustments so that we can say this was our revenues and these were our expenses for the month of February 2024, and that's it. It's been cut off, and now we're into March. And on accrual-
All the invoices are dated the date that, so like if an invoice is dated February 29th, but I don't receive it in the mail till March 3rd, it gets dated for February 29th. So I would say probably 2 weeks into the following month, you could say that, but
There's no
Okay,
real
oh,
reason.
there's no real reason to do
Right.
that. I don't think.
Okay, but typically by the middle of the month, the prior month it's history. It's closed out. The financials are closed out. Maybe you don't do
You
formal
can't-
closing
No,
adjustments.
you don't do
but-
formal closing because sometimes we'll use, I'll pick on Ian because he's not here. his bills sometimes come
Right.
2 and 3 months later than
Right.
what they
Correct.
originally should have
Right.
been. So that's a little tough to do.
Right.
But in a sense, yes, the second or third week into the following month, you could say these were our expenses and revenues for February.
Okay, okay.
Um,
So I just want to go on record, going forward, be probably part of the new administration's position is, I think we as a board need to see once a month at the proper time, probably toward the end of a current month, a formal P&L and a balance sheet and a variance analysis of the prior month. So we
You-
know how we're tracking exactly to our proposed budget.
So the monthly budget report that comes out at the end of every month, so it will come out usually the first or second week of the following month. I'm working on it for February now before I leave.
Okay.
That will have your balance sheet, not your balance sheet, your profit and loss for both the water and the operating, actual versus your budget.
Right.
Obviously, the budget right now says 0.
Right, I
So
understand that, because the budget isn't approved, I got that.
Yeah, so that is a report that you will get. And then my understanding, because I reconcile the bank statements and Dinah signs off on them, so she should have some form of a report to match up her numbers and my numbers to make sure we're in balance. So I don't know if you want to ask her for those. I've never seen them, but I'm guessing it's something that she has.
Okay, I'm only bringing it up because BOC meetings I've attended in the past, just not as a commissioner, obviously, just as an interested party. I never saw any discussion of this at the meetings that I can recall. It always seemed like it was sort of like a back office thing where it was very smoky and
No,
discussed and
it was
just like-
discussed at every meeting,
Yeah.
once a month.
It was discussed at every meeting. It
Yeah.
wasn't a full-blown, it wasn't a long discussion. It was-
Not a line item.
It highlighted the
Okay,
Yeah.
subtotals.
right, all right.
And you just reminded me that you guys started in February, so you didn't do this for January.
Right,
You missed it by 2 weeks, I think.
right.
So I could email you January's if you want to see.
No, they were here for January's because at the end of January was when I didn't have a board, so things were pushed. So they did see January's budget,
Okay,
the month-end budget.
Right,
report.
they resigned January 31st.
Yeah, so when I
Right.
did January's, it was in February, so they.
okay,
So
So-
we actually reviewed it at
Yep,
the meeting?
yep, the 13th, I think, that meeting we went over
So
it.
you did get that.
okay. So it's obviously just a learning curve for me,
Mhm.
but that's always been one of my bugaboos, you know, that,
Yeah.
you know, you really have to be, you know, we are fiscally responsible to the taxpayers, and we have to stay on top of this. We have to know what's happening in real time, especially if we start getting grilled by our constituents.
One of the things you just reminded me, I'm used to, from back to 1986 when I first became a commissioner, we did review these things in detail. And every time I've been a commissioner, we did. And we're starting to again. We're going into further detail with everything than I experienced last year with the passport. One of the things that I saw was the DPW has recreated a fuel log.
Yeah, we discussed that last week.
And yes, that's right, I read it in the minutes, and he was inviting us to review that.
Yes.
Yeah,
We used to review things like that fuel log,
Mhm.
and we should get back into it. Talk about ride-alongs and so forth. Those two guys are inviting us to look at stuff. So.
absolutely.
That's
I
great.
love that. I love that.
Yep.
You know, what's better than seeing all the toys that we have and how they work and understanding when they come here what they're talking about.
Anything else?
No, that was just my one concern that I wanted to go on record about, and I don't mind in the future if we get into a little deeper, you know, a little more granularity as to how we are tracking to budget, at least on a monthly, you know, maybe one meeting per month is a deeper dive, whereas every other BOC meeting is more of a overview.
Thanks. Nancy, do you have anything?
No, not for this week.
Okay. No public appearance, no public comments. So we'll go into, make a motion to go into, with a roll call vote, to go into non-public session under 91A 3, Roman numeral 2L, and also the one for reputation. Which I could look up if you need it right now.
No, that's okay. I
So
think
that
it's
motion needs a second.
I'll second that.
Roll call vote. Nancy, how do you vote to go into non-public session?
Aye.
Woody, how do you vote?
Aye.
And I vote aye also, 3-0.